Was it over when the Brewers took a 2-game lead?
No!
Hell no!
Hell no!
Good, better, best!
Good, better, best!
Never let it rest!
Never let it rest!
Until your good is better!
Till your good is better!
And your better is the best!
And your better is the best!
CHGO Cubs next.
We're still alive!
Woo is all I can say about that one. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs podcast.
Yes.
Driven by Toyota Let's Go Places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign up.
All of us.
I burned off every calorie of 3 pieces of rally cake just in that 9th inning.
All I can say is do not let the Cubbies get hot. Do not let this team get hot. And I know the Brewers are still up 2-1, but don't think for a second they're not shaking in their boots a little bit, because there will be baseball again tomorrow at Wrigley Field. And I'm telling you, man, the boys are going to be jacked up.
Let me tell you here, Jep in the live YouTube chat here at the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel says, don't let us get one. Oh, and look at Joey Christopoulos dig into that rally cake, now celebration cake.
Yeah.
As the Cubs finally beat the Brewers in Game 3.
You know, guys,
Oh, boy.
I just got to tell you, this might not be the most professional audio podcast.
No.
But I will tell you, did this hurt me emotionally? Sure. Am I physically a little banged up? Yeah. I mean, I'm doing fine. I mean,
you're totally fine.
I'm totally fine right now.
Totally.
Everything's fine. The Cubs win. We get to live another day, but no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Rally cake, everything's going great.
And the 4 Tums that you took 45 minutes ago mean absolutely nothing.
That might have helped out a little bit.
4-3 Cubs in a wild Game 3.
Yes.
They get all their runs right at the beginning of the game, and
Crazy.
it was the same story almost as Game 2. We just sat there saying, come on.
You know,
Come on.
The same story, but different, because we had opportunities this game.
And we're celebrating.
I feel I feel like in Game 2 we didn't really have the opportunities. In this game, there were many opportunities, and I feel I'm not gonna be a Debbie Downer, but I feel like there were also many failed executions. You could have moved runners over. You could have stolen bases. You could have pinch ran. You could have not gotten picked off first base.
Yes.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. We won, but it was the same but different because we had opportunities to blow it wide open, and we didn't. We scored all of our runs in the first inning, knocked out their starter in the first inning, and then couldn't score the rest of the game. Thank God we won, but there were missed opportunities.
Yeah, there were, but and that's sort of been the problem when the offense hasn't been working, right? Like, they've had opportunities. I was more frustrated, though, really, with Game 2 and just the 2 hits after the home run.
Yeah.
This, at least, you felt like they were creating tension for the Brewers pitchers. You're making them, like, not just bring guys in to, do dance routines up on the mound and then come off and then do a dance routine going into the dugout. That's what Game 2 felt like.
Yeah.
This felt like, at least, even when you weren't scoring, and that was outrageously frustrating, you were putting pressure on their pitchers, and that's something the Cubs really hadn't done at all in this series.
Yeah, Cubs needed to pick up a win. They got it. It's great news. We get to play another day. Also great news. But, yeah, I don't know if you're a Cubs fan right now. I don't know if you're necessarily, like, sticking out your chest and feeling really uber confident after this game. A lot of great things to take away from, and, Luke, you're hitting on them for sure. When you at least talk about maybe not the results, but the process at the plate, it definitely got better tonight. And for the first time, the Chicago Cubs we're chasing Milwaukee Brewer pitchers out of a game. We're forcing Pat Murphy to maybe get out of his comfort zone to bring in some guys that he didn't necessarily want to use at a particular time. Had to go to Jose Quintana. And Justin, to your point, they got guys on base. We got to knock them in. They did enough today. How about it? We scored 4 runs today.
Yeah.
How about it,
Everyone's like, score more than 3. Okay, we give you 4.
Enough to win. Enough to win for today. Plenty to work on moving forward. But again, it isn't the point where I'm starting to feel like that the momentum is shifting. But the fact that we get to play tomorrow gives us one more opportunity to shift that even a little bit further. If this is a survival of the fittest, if we have to keep grinding these games out, let's do it. I'd prefer that the bases loaded weren't every single time in the 8th inning of these games, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, 4-3 win, Cubs survive, still alive, and we get to play tomorrow.
So I'll be a homer, though. I do think the momentum has shifted. I think if you're the Brewers, you wanted to end it today. You wanted it over today. Because now, they go to their hotel room in Chicago, wherever they're staying at or whatever, and there's some doubt in your head a little bit, And we weren't at the game, but the chat is saying that the Wrigley crowd was crazy tonight. And you don't think they're going to be even more crazy tomorrow? I mean, you're right. It's not like a guarantee we're winning the series, but the momentum has shifted, and man, the players and the Wrigley Field faithful are going to be jacked tomorrow, and I cannot wait for it.
Well, they pushed it. And, 4 runs is better than 3, which is all they had scored in the playoffs since 2017. 3 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs.
0 runs.
But I'll be honest with you, tomorrow I want 10.
1,000%.
Finally, we need the offense to show up that was the best offense in the first half of the season. And I don't know if there's a reason to believe that it's coming, but sooner or later you got to score more runs than you're scoring in this postseason.
We thought we were getting that in the first inning. We thought that was what we were on pace to have that 10-run game.
I absolutely thought it was coming. They were doing everything right. Everything that when we started the watch along, and by the way, thanks to everybody that joined for the live watch along. It was awesome again. And it was fun to go through it with everybody in the chat.
Yeah,
every single stage of, the denial, the worry, the denial, the highs, the lows, the cakes.
The cakes.
Right? But early on we were saying, listen, go back to being who you were, right? And go back to taking some walks. Early in the season, they were walking, they were stealing bases, and they were hitting home runs. They were doing all 3.
Yeah.
But the walks were crucial. They were getting base. They had tons of traffic because we were saying, okay, the weather's cold. They need to play a different way. And they were. They consciously were looking for those walks. And all of a sudden here, somewhere in the middle of the season, the weather's warm. Everybody starts getting homer happy. Mm-hmm. It started to tail off. Mm-hmm. And early on in this game, they were being very patient at the plate. Instead of just giving away strikeouts. 55 strikeouts in the first 2 games. Is that what it was?
Yeah, 57, I think it was.
57 strikeouts in the first 4 games.
Yeah, postseason.
Yeah. And you're like, come on, man. This is not who you want to be. Right. And sure enough, they were more patient. But then they started to get away from it again. I feel like they could have easily put up 8 runs in this game.
1,000%.
Well, the other part about it was after those 2 games, when the Brewers just kick your ass, you're asking yourself, what is the blueprint? What is going to get us back into the series? And the easy thing, right, is to hearken back to those early season successes as an offense, and how can we get back to that and bottle it up? A couple things that I noticed tonight that I think could be possibly a blueprint for success for the Chicago Cubs to not only win tomorrow, but give them a shot to shock the world on Saturday. The first one is the 1 through 3 in the lineup tonight, 5 for 11. Really like to see that. We need to see that. Kyle Tucker's not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but he got on base today. We'd like him to stay on base once he does that. We'll get to that a little bit later. The other one, though, is, Luke, when you talk about getting on base, yes, they coaxed 4 walks tonight from the Milwaukee Brewers, but we were talking about it throughout the entire watch along. I just loved seeing the survival tactics and the fight at the plate. There is nothing wrong. You can still have a good at-bat, and when we talk about working a good at-bat, if it isn't necessarily a walk, I love seeing you foul off pitches. I love seeing stuff that's kind of in the zone that you're able to at least fall off and spoil, because we saw it multiple times where certain Brewers pitchers had to run a slider up 3 or 4 times, and guess what? That fourth slider, it was in the dirt, and then you get that walk, right?
Yeah.
That's how you build that confidence. That's how you make a pitching staff work. Yep. That also goes into the ingredients of what made the Chicago Cubs offense so potent early on this year. So we saw little glimpses of it tonight. PCA, huge base hit in the first inning. I thought Dansby Swanson had a fantastic night at the plate. Even maybe the box score doesn't suggest as such.
He did have good at-bats.
There was little stuff tonight that I thought, hey, look, these are little breadcrumbs that can point the Cubs in the right direction. They need to replicate it tomorrow. And not only replicate it, Justin, they need to replicate this and then, as you said, execute in those moments. Cash in. And good. I'm glad they scored 4 runs tonight, but I'm with you guys. We need 5, 6, 7 runs tomorrow.
Yeah.
We really need to put it on them tomorrow and really just start to take this series right back into the hands of the Cubs.
I think we can absolutely win this series without a doubt. I think that, on Monday night after our post-game show, and it was kind of like a cemetery show, if you will, because we were all like down in the dumps, there was a clip that went online that of me talking about, listen, it's as simple as winning on Wednesday and then winning on Thursday, and then anything could happen on a Game 5, right? Yeah. And there were a lot of people love that rally cry. There are some people that are like, great analysis, dude. And I know, I'm not giving you anything you don't know, but it's that simple. Today was the most important game of the season. Tomorrow is now the most important game of the season. And it really is. Have the Cubs won 3 games in a row before? Yeah. Many times.
Against the Brewers.
Against the Brewers, they did it. Yeah. It really is that simple. Okay, now let's celebrate tonight. Let's have fun. Let's go to bed happy. And then tomorrow, it's back to work. And what's the only thing you're thinking about tomorrow? Not who's starting Game 5. No. Tomorrow, it's all about winning one baseball game, and then you move on.
And Justin, to take your cemetery analogy a little bit further, it's the Halloween season, right?
Yeah.
Cubs fans, think about it like this. As of today, walking in today, the Chicago Cubs were in the cemetery, and they were buried underground. Mm-hmm. Today, they have crawled out of the dirt, Luke, and now they're breathing out of the air. If they win tomorrow, that means that they are above ground, out of the soil, but still in the cemetery, and then cemetery is getting out of the cemetery and getting home scot-free and moving on to the next series. There are steps to this, right? But for the first time in the last couple of days, at least in this series, Luke, the Cubs are breathing and can continue to play and see what happens tomorrow.
It was like I was watching this game, and I was sitting there watching early on, and I thought to myself, the Cubs they're dead. They're dead. This is over. The Brewers scored early. And I thought,
the pop-up.
That's it. It's dead. And I was watching like this, straight as a board. I was just laying in my coffin, sitting there. And then PCA got that hit, and it was like The Undertaker.
Oh.
It was like The Undertaker sat up, right?
Gong.
And I was like, wait a minute. Don't give us life.
Uh-huh.
And I'm disappointed that they really didn't go and put on a show after that.
Right.
But they got the job done.
They did.
And so there's another game. You're right, Justin. It's now we take this one next. Now, the question we're all going to ask right away, and we may find out by the end of this podcast, what do you do pitching-wise?
I have an idea.
What do you do lineup-wise for this Game 4? Because I will say this. If the Cubs can somehow scratch and claw and just have it will have to be an absolute team effort.
Yes. All hands on deck.
Because it's going to be a hodgepodge smorgasbord of players trying to win a game tomorrow. If they can, the Brewers' sphincters will be tight.
Mm-hmm.
They will be the ones feeling it. Right now, all the pressure has shifted back to Milwaukee.
1,000%. Because they don't want to go to Game 5.
All of it has shifted back to Milwaukee.
They don't want Game 5. I would argue tomorrow is just as important as Game 5, because if we can win tomorrow, Milwaukee will be shook going back to a Game 5 in a series that they should have ended today.
Braggs in the stands with a super chat. Our guy Greg Braggs, future owner of Braggs Ballpark in Milwaukee.
Braggs Junior Stadium.
Brewers should still win this series, but the pressure has shifted to Milwaukee now, in my opinion. They want no part of a Game 5 after being up 2-0.
That's just what I said.
That's
Great minds think alike, buddy.
That's
the first half, disagree.
Well, now don't forget, Braggs was very down on the Cubs this afternoon, but he stayed up, he rallied, and he gave us $5. So I forgive him.
So all it takes is a little coin in your pocket.
And also, if he could cut me in on whatever he's getting, that's...
It's that simple, guys. Tomorrow is everything. I know you know that, but, man, you win tomorrow, I think you win this series. I really, really believe that.
I just hope we get to that point. Let's just get to this same point tomorrow for good, better, best, never let it rest. Yes. That's what I'm hoping for. We're just getting started on this post-game show podcast. Lots more to come. We are going to talk about who should start Game 2. Or Game 4, rather. Game 2. We went through that for Game 1.
We forgot, though. We wiped the first two games of the series.
Now we're not sure who should start Game 4. What are the big decisions coming forward offensively? All of that, let us know in the live YouTube chat. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Cubs fans, whatever the sport, the app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. It's Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. So bet on all your favorite teams in every single game this season. They have spreads. They've got props, futures, in-game, Circa Sports. They've got it all, so you can fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Got the Chicago Cubs right now, but Chicago Bears, Chicago Blackhawks, Chicago Bulls, Circa Sports. Get in on the action, root on your favorite teams, and win a little money while you're at it. So download your new bookie today. Just go to circasports.com. Remember, you must be 21 or older, and if you or anyone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. But remember, whatever the sport, it's Circa Sports Illinois.
Did you feel that temperature drop yesterday?
It happened. We're here.
Don't let it happen in your house. Winter's going to be here before you know it, and your home's heating. Is it up for the challenge? At Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing and Electric, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. Save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month. Furnace AC combos from $57 a month. Call today and save $50. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving your Chicagoland area for more than 50 years. They are your trusted local experts. Visit Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. Now is the time, right now, to get that tune-up on your furnace. Don't wait until it's too late. That's Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com.
For whatever the right reasons, 866 Four Seasons.
All right, Cubs win 4-3. There will be a Game 4 tomorrow, and we will debate all the pitching matchups in that one in just a second. Don't forget, by the way, we got a great diehard deal, $36 right now for the whole year, $59 if you want to upgrade to the branded Bills limited edition cap while supplies last. But it is time for our Taking the Temp segment as we get ready for Game 4. Your trusted local experts, Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. Four Seasons HeatingCooling.com. All right, let's take the temp. And I asked that in the chat before we left. Who should start Game 4? I've seen 3 names thrown out there.
Okay.
And I think they're the 3 names that everybody else will be considering as well. I don't think it's anybody else other than one of these 3.
Okay.
Braggs says absolutely Matthew Boyd. I've seen others say, you know what? Ben Brown has a history against the Brewers.
A very good one.
And even though I don't fully trust Ben Brown, I trust that he can beat the Brewers.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is Colin Ray against his old team. Now, he just threw yesterday. No, he just threw
2 days ago.
Monday, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My days are all mixed up.
I know, the off days throws off.
Totally off.
I think I'll look it up real quick. I think he threw 55 pitches.
I don't think it's Ray.
I don't either.
I think it's Brown or Boyd, and I'm pretty sure it's Boyd. Yeah. Craig Counsell likes to go with the horses that got him there.
Yeah.
And this is your all-star who hasn't necessarily pitched exactly like an all-star, but he will be on regular rest. Okay?
Coming off of short rest.
Yes, he only had 3 days rest last time, and that was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Now he will be fully rested, having only thrown 2 innings because it was so bad.
2/3 of an inning.
2/3 of an inning, excuse me. I think they're just going to go. I think they're going to go Boyd Brown. Bang, bang.
Yeah. So the question is, who do I think Council's going to have start tomorrow?
And who do you want?
Probably Matthew Boyd. Who do I want? Let's get crazy. I want Ben Brown starting tomorrow. He has owned the Brewers this year, and he's got a very strong arm and electric stuff. And now I'm not saying Ben Brown because I want to save Boyd because you don't save anybody. I just think Ben Brown can give this team a jolt. He's owned this team before. And then if you can win tomorrow somehow, some way, you have Boyd for Game 5 on Saturday. Now, also, Pat Murphy for Game 2 kind of went with the bullpen game, if you will. Just because Ben Brown starts doesn't mean I'm expecting him to go 6 innings.
Right.
He could pitch 3 innings, 2 innings, and that for me is a start. But, Boyd had short rest, didn't work. Fine, he's got full rest, coming off short rest. He was very fatigued down the stretch. I really wanted him to pitch Game 1. It didn't work out. I think I'm ready to be a little crazy and go Ben Brown, but I do think Council will pick Matthew Boyd.
Sticking with Matthew Boyd. I'm sticking with Matthew Boyd. Now, I think we're all kind of saying the same thing where we would like to see Ben Brown in this game on Thursday, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm a little bit of two minds of it with the Ben Brown thing because, one, when you do talk about when Ben Brown was at his best against the Milwaukee Brewers, a lot of it happened in Milwaukee, especially those 6 shutout innings early on this year. Mm-hmm. But if you look, the home and away splits, it's pretty much the same. You could make an easy argument that Ben Brown has blown up a lot in first inning of games. We had to use an opener at some point. Well, guess what Matthew Boyd just did? He blew up in the first inning of his last start. But at the end of the day, on normal rest, all the points that you guys have already made about Matthew Boyd, I'm not running away from Matthew Boyd. You know what I mean? I'm not tucking and running from one of my guys that's got me here on normal rest. Maybe one of the advantages of this is the fact that how badly the Brewers sneak attacked. Is that even a word? Is that in the present tense?
Snooky?
Yeah, the way that they snooky attacked.
Is she still around, Snooky?
With the way that they got,
she's doing well.
but the way that they got after Matthew Boyd early on in the counts and just kind of like bum rushed him from the very beginning. Maybe that gives Matthew Boyd some sort of instructive advantage to maybe not do that the second time around and get some more pitches out there. Yeah. I think we both can agree, though, that like I'm having Matthew Boyd in the first inning because I want him to face Yelich. I want him to face Terang. But I'm with you. I think it's all hands on deck. I think I'm having Ben Brown ready to roll right off the jump. Colin Ray did throw 60 pitches 2 days ago, which is a bit of a heavy load, so we'll see what happens. I would also maybe prepare for an Aaron Savali appearance at some point. It's going to be all hands on deck. Matthew Boyd, I think, starts the game, but how far he goes is yet to be seen. I think Jameson Taillon today going 4 innings. You were talking about it during the watch-along, Luke. That's like going 7 back in the day, right? That's a deep performance from a starter. If you're telling me Matthew Boyd can just give me 3 innings and get through the lineup one time, I think we got to stick with them. These are the guys that we have. We're not going anywhere without them, and I think we have to do Matthew Boyd to start.
I think it's Boyd for multiple reasons. Now, somebody's asking, could you do an opener for Boyd?
But who? We used Pomeranz today and we used Thielbar today. You'd be doing it for the lefties. Who would it be?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's Boyd. He should be ready to go this time. He's the best pitcher you have available now because Taillon just pitched here, so he's your guy. 2 reasons not Ben Brown to start the game. Mm-hmm. I'm with you that Brown eventually makes it in the game. One is Brown struggles in the first inning sometimes. 2, Brown struggles at Wrigley Field sometimes. He's talked about getting too amped up sometimes.
That San Diego start earlier in the year where he couldn't even get out of the first inning, walk in the world.
He gets a little too amped up. Imagine what he'd be like in a backs-to-the-wall situation. Maybe a little too much for him. And I just think Boyd's ready for the challenge this time. The other one, the last time wasn't Boyd's not up for the challenge. I think physically he wasn't up for the challenge. Like, his body wasn't up for the challenge.
And he was bad, but Nico's error made it really bad. And
all of those things. Yeah. So I think Boyd's up for the challenge. And if he's going against Peralta, so be it. The people that are already talking about you would go to Shota in Game 5.
Stop.
Let's
guys, I'm telling you, let's
just get there. They may not. If you get there, you may not have another option. You might. Yes. You might not have another option. But let's just get through 4. Somehow win a game at Wrigley, scratch and claw. This team, I will give them this. They have been resilient this year.
They have.
Can't sweep the Cubs unless you're the Reds a week ago. But other than that, that has been the mantra this season. It's really hard to sweep the Cubs. It's hard for the Cubs to sweep a team. It's still on par with who they've been all year.
And the Cubs are a great home team. They're a great home team.
They are.
What's tomorrow? Oh, another home game. Wrigley Field, I heard, was rocking in the chat. They're telling me it was deafening in the chat. Well, tomorrow's going to be even louder and even more rocking, and can't wait for it.
Luke CFIO says, I'd think about holding off on Ray for Game 5. Again, I'm not against Ray starting Game 5, but you got to get to Game 5. All right, we have Mark Harmon in the clubhouse there at Wrigley Field, along with our Jared Wyllys at Wrigley Field. And they just got us some sound from one Brad Keller, who just what
are you doing to me, Brad? I love you, Brad.
Almost sent me to a pacemaker. Here he is, Brad Keller.
That was pretty stressful. No, that was awesome. That was an electric environment. That was a lot of fun to get in there and get 4 outs and come out here with the win.
Talk about the walk. You don't usually show being upset, but I might have missed 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Just how to regroup and go after the next guy. Obviously, don't want to come in that situation and walk anybody. So just how to regroup and go after the next guy.
You're so used to coming in your starting inning, but in the playoffs it can be different. What was that like in the games there?
Yeah, I mean, just try to take the same mentality. Just go after guys. Obviously, that was a bigger moment coming in there, and so really just try to slow it down as much as I could and get strike one. I felt like I threw some good pitches in that at bat, but it is what it is.
What does it mean to get a save in a must-win game?
I mean, it's awesome. I think that was such a team effort there. I mean, defense was incredible. Offense putting up 4 runs early on, and pitching Jameson Taillon and all the guys in front of me coming in and shut it down. It was a lot of fun, and looking forward to do it again tomorrow.
Because it's an elimination game, does Tommy and the counts come to you and say it could be any time, but we'd like to maybe even get a little bit more than 1 inning out of you at the end? I
think that's everyone knows what's at stake, and I think everyone knows be willing and ready anytime the phone rings. It could be just depends on the pocket, the situation of the game. So it could be anyone. Just kind of stay ready. They told us early on today it's like could be second, third, fourth, or it could be late in the game. So just staying focused on the game and staying ready.
Listen, it wasn't perfect against the Padres in Game 3.
No.
It wasn't perfect tonight. But give Taillon and give Keller credit. When the Cubs needed them most, both guys eventually got the job done, right? Like, one way or another, those 2 guys got the job done.
And Palencia.
You
look good, too.
Keller, I could go through this 100 times and come up with 100 different answers.
Yeah.
I don't know what the most underrated move is by Jed Hoyer in the offseason.
MVP of the bullpen. We've been talking about it.
I mean, Keller's probably that guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go back and say Busch from 2 years ago, like, okay, there have been a lot of guys that have come through, but Pomerantz is just as good of a story. But Keller is the one that they're putting in the highest leverage situations after they have gone through multiple closers. They're taking a guy who used to be a starter that they just took a flyer on at spring training, and then we're like, hey, do you think you could be like our extra long guy or something? Do you think you could just kind of do this? Why don't we try your reliever? And all of a sudden, here he is in the NLDS, pitching moments that have us, panting on the floor, trying to get the final out.
Well, and what's so interesting about it, just from the Cubs fandom ecosystem perspective of it, is I get it. We've seen some bullpens, especially with the Brewers and the Padres. They got guys coming out of here throwing gas at like 104, 105. I get it. But I will say it's really refreshing that as opposed to some Cubs bullpens of years past, we do have 3 guys, whether it's been Palencia or whether it has been Kittredge or whether it is now in Brad Keller, that we feel confident can get 3 outs in a 9th inning. And last year, I don't think we had anybody. We were cycling through Hector Neris, and we were trying to search and find, and maybe it was Porter Hodge, and Albert Azalea had a cup of coffee, and then he got hurt. And now we have 3 guys that can at least cover that back half, and I think it's a luxury, or at least the depth that Chicago Cubs fans haven't seen from a team the last couple of years. So I hope that does give you a little bit of confidence. And can I just say, guys, like on a really on just a really human level. I know that when we watch our favorite players and stars, we expect them to do all this different stuff and produce and stuff. I just got to tell you that hearing that music in the locker room just really quick.
Love it.
I think that was that's a great thing for those Cubs players in there right now, because look, a lot of those guys have relationships and have friendships in that locker room, and they all walked in that locker room thinking, is this the last day we're all going to be together? Is this the last day we're all going to get to hang out? Is this the last day we're going to go on the field and try and win a game and then high five after a win together? Mm-hmm. And the fact that they got through these 9 innings today, they should be playing that music right now. That doesn't mean overconfidence. Do not mistake that right now. That just means guys that are coming together, that care about each other, just savoring the moment, breathing a sigh of relief, and I hope that gives them more of that confidence and that momentum to try and do it again tomorrow and then play that music again in the locker room after another win.
Fun fact, that's Luke Stuckmeyer's favorite kind of music. EDM dance.
Oh, yeah.
It's his favorite kind of
Ryan
music.
Herrera used to say that. Luke loves EDM.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know what that is.
Coming up next, we'll find out. Luke will tell you what EDM actually means on the other side of the break. We got more sound coming from you from Cubs players in the locker room with Mark Carman, but we're going to take a break here on the CHGO Cubs podcast. Hey, Cubs fans, great news. Toyota has 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. The RAV4, it has legendary versatility. The Grand Highlander's adult-sized third row, it's totally for real. And the Tacoma's wild side comes standard. From job sites, campsites, to game nights, there's an all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive at Toyota to get you there in style. So find yours at Toyota.com or visit your Chicagoland Toyota dealers. Luke, perfect time to become a Chicago diehard. CHGO diehard right now. Bulls, Blackhawks, Bears, all that good stuff. Become one today and upgrade your fandom. You get exclusive written content, Jared Wyllys, Patrick Norton, Adam Johns, plenty of discounts, a free t-shirt, future merch, and also discounts on events. Access our CHGO Discord lounge and hang out with us while we just talk Chicago sports. So go to allchgo.com right now for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO diehards in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level.
All right, let's be real for a second. The world has gone soft, and that's fine when you're talking about your favorite comfy hoodie. But it's not when we're talking about the world. Everybody's getting a trophy for just showing up.
Not again.
Everything needs to be bubble wrapped.
No.
Soda used to have some kick.
Yes.
Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola's not a soft drink. It's just a damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure. RC is the OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow-up. RC hasn't changed its stripes since 1905 because they didn't need to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. And RC Cola tastes like a punch right in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Grab some RC at your local store. Get ready for all those Bears parties this winter. RC is the right move for whatever you're doing. Maybe you're getting ready for a Halloween party. Load up the kids with RC and let them loose. Wow, Cubs win 4-3, and we will have a Game 4 tomorrow. We've been asking, who's your Game 4 starter? What are you going to do? Bragg's in the stands with another $5. This is from all the money he won in Vegas. He says, who makes more sense in the cold? Is that a stupid question? Am I a stupid person?
No. I mean, am I wrong to say Ben Brown makes more sense in the cold because he throws the hardest?
It's not that cold. It's not, 10 degrees outside.
But at night, if the game's going to be at 8, which I think we're still waiting on, but it may be around 8, it's colder. When we get outside,
chilly.
It's going to be chilly. It's not going to be like it was last week,
No, I think the old adage, I'm in agreement with you with that, is just like, I think it's just because we've been in the box before, and what do you not want to hit? You don't want to hit velocity in on your hands.
Totally.
Yeah, but
that's what you don't want to do in the cold.
But we're amateurs. We're talking about the best players in the world. You know who the best pitcher is? It has nothing to do with the cold. Whoever the best pitcher is.
Right.
That's Boyd. Boyd.
So, but I was
fully rested Boyd.
So my thing is that the thing about Boyd that I like a whole lot, whether it's hot or cold or not, is that he still has that changeup that he gets swing and the miss on, and he gets down in the zone. Now, the other complementary pitches that he has, he's got to control those. We've talked a lot about his fastball command, and it's been a problem. He needs to just do whatever he can to just make that a pitch that the Brewers can respect, and then see if he can mix in that little curveball every once in a while. The thing that he needs to do is he needs to go back and look at the tape tonight of what Jameson Taillon did and all the other pitchers. We talked about this after the Brewers wiped us out in Game 2 about what the problem was with Shota Imanaga. Brewers were hitting too many balls in the air. What did Jameson Taillon do tonight? He got 8 ground ball outs. What did the Chicago Cubs do tonight? They got 15 ground ball outs. They're hitting the ball to our best defenders in the infield. They're keeping the ball out of the air. That is the recipe for success, Matthew Boyd. It can be 90 degrees. It can be 50 degrees, whatever it is. That changeup, that curve, and however you are dotting that fastball inside, you got to keep the ball on the ground. That is the recipe to hold down this Brewers team.
I was never worried about Taillon in this game.
Same.
I wasn't.
Same.
And I'm probably more of a Taillon fan than a lot of people are. Most Cubs fans are. I think he takes a lot of heat.
I'm with you.
But I think he's a big innings eater. I'm not. They never signed him to be an ace.
Right.
If Horton was here, if Steele was here, and you had Boyd and Shota, he'd technically be your 5th starter possibly on this on the staff.
Yeah.
If everything went perfectly this season, he would have been your 5th starter. He wasn't perfect tonight, but he's come through in 2 of the biggest moments this season, period. And he's had a lot of quality starts this year. I think it's by far his best season in a Cubs uniform.
Oh, 1,000%.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
And I ask you this question. If you have a triangle of trust and you're putting those at the most, the trust is at the very top. That's number 1. And then number 10 is the least amount of trust. Has right now with what the Cubs have to work with, obviously he's not going to be starting game 4.
Or 5.
Has Taillon moved to the top of the list for your triangle of trust?
I was saying this going into the postseason is that he was next to Cade Horton. He was your hottest pitcher. So for me, all things being equal, if Cade Horton is in the next round, it's Horton and Taillon are my top 2 in my circle of trust. Now, obviously, we don't have Horton right now. So, yeah, Taillon becomes number 1. And he proved it by pitching in the 2 biggest postseason games of our season, elimination against Padres and our elimination game against the oh my God, I'm blanking right now. We just beat Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he really has – I'm so shook.
Cake.
But, I mean, he really has become your most important pitcher. But now forget that because he's off the table. He can't pitch tomorrow, and I'd say he can't pitch on Saturday either. So, it's you got to trust other guys. You have a full team of pitchers and a full roster of pitchers that have got to pick up the slack. So tomorrow, whether it's Boyd, Brown, combination of both, they got to pick up the slack.
Yeah, Taillon's at the top of that triangle, right at the tippy top there. I'd probably put Matthew Boyd a little bit further down, and then unfortunately even further down that than is Shota Imanaga. Just been kind of disappointing. I really thought he was going to stand up and meet the moment, but you can see him out there finishing with that follow through. Something isn't right with him mechanically right now, and he's just really kind of fighting it.
I feel like Shota hasn't been the same since the hamstring.
Yeah, I don't think he can pitch the rest of the series no matter what. I think that he's off my circle of trust, and we'll get there when we get there, but I don't think he pitches again in the series personally.
And you said Taillon. I would say that Taillon, if you were to somehow get to a game 5, I could see you asking him to get a couple of outs because you could use it as like a bullpen.
Okay.
I don't think if it goes to a game 5 and your whole season's on the line, I could see them saying to him, do you have anything left in you?
Who wouldn't?
Instead
Who
of
wouldn't
putting
walk in there and go
player X out there.
But don't forget, Matthew Boyd said that.
Oh.
And look
well,
what
I'm not
happened.
saying they would start him. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I would start him. But
So you're saying middle innings or whatever. I hear you.
Could they say, man, we got to righty up. We need you to get him out.
I hear, but it's time. Taillon has pulled us this far. It's funny to say that, but Taillon has really, pulled us this far. It's time for other guys to step up.
How unbelievable is that?
It's crazy.
Because I'm telling you, like, right now, Nico, Seiya, Dansby, Taillon. You're talking about 4 guys that I have sat up here for the better part of the last 2 years that have been blasted in our chat, blasted on Twitter, off and on at different times. People can't stand Dansby at times. People can't stand Taillon at times, right? Like, people get angry at Seiya at times.
Well, all those guys got paid except for Nico, right?
And everybody wanted Nico to be traded in the offseason before he had the injury.
Right.
And here we are, and they're the only reason you're hanging on right now.
Price tags come with expectations. Every Cubs fan is allowed to be critical with that. You want to see the bang for your buck, but let's be real about this. As you look at it, you guys have already walked it through and illustrated it. Jameson Taillon, he's made his money from that free agent contract in my book, not just this season, but what he's done in these last 2 rounds, keeping it in there. And look, it's not like we have the advantage on the starting pitching side, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that, I think, in either of the series that we've played. But when we talk about getting the job done, keeping us in a game, and like Justin, just really quick, man, like how huge was it? We talk a lot about the Chicago Cubs scoring in the first inning. Well, what if Chicago pitchers done the very next inning? They've given up the lead right back.
Yeah.
Just coming out with a shutout inning.
Yes.
Right after we put some points on the board and we make it 4-1 in that
Yes.
second inning. How huge is that? Just to have something kind of break the schneid of all that going on.
And I'd also argue that Taillon's line, his final line, isn't anywhere near as good as he actually pitched, because that first inning, I don't put on him. That fluke pop-up that Busch got blinded by the sun,
crazy.
You can't put that on Jameson Taillon. He pitched a great game. He kept us in. I wanted him to go 5. He went 4, fine. But, I mean, Jameson Taillon is a major reason why we're playing tomorrow.
Let's be honest. There's not a Cubs fan in the world that didn't think this is over when that pop-up landed on the ground.
It was
It was like the Marlins in 03.
Yeah.
Everybody thought this is over. I could turn the TV off when they dropped that pop-up.
but it wasn't over.
Then
It
an inning
wasn't.
later, you were talking too, and then an inning later, the clouds come over the sun.
It was crazy.
And then Frelick makes this amazing play in right field.
Yeah,
It
that he
would have been
never
surely
makes.
more extra runs that no one ever makes in that sun, in that corner, except maybe Jason Hayward, right? Maybe Jason Hayward. And then right after that, the cloud leaves again,
Yeah.
shadows come right back. I mean, it was a funny, funky day at Wrigley Field. And I'm just glad that the Chicago Cubs survived it, because they didn't survive that Nico Hoerner error in Game 1, something that frankly is like a once-in-a-blue-moon thing that you're never going to see again. That pop-up again, once in a blue moon. I don't think you're going to see that again this series, and the Chicago Cubs were able to overcome and survive.
De La Cruz says it was a Cubby occurrence. I mean,
Yes,
that's what it was.
Lupinella Cubby
It was
occurrence.
a Cubby
100%.
occurrence, you know. And but props to the Cubs. The pitching, offense did just enough. The defense, they got past that fluky pop-up. A lot of times, and not to bring it up in 03, you couldn't get past the Cubby occurrence. They got past the Cubby occurrence tonight to be able to play tomorrow.
Sarah, do we have the Taillon sound from the Cubs clubhouse? All right, this is Jameson Taillon. Again, he beat the Padres, got it done. Team won in his start. Sure enough, season's still continuing because Taillon delivered at least enough to get the Cubs across the finish line. Here he is, Jameson Taillon.
I kind of thought I was still making some pretty good pitches. Obviously, I fell behind in some counts, which isn't very like me. But I knew after Bowers, I had some good matchups coming up. So it was kind of just, and we had talked about that in the pregame meeting. Like, I liked that 8-9 hole pocket for me. And then I knew I had Palm coming in if it got to Yelich. Like, I'm thinking through these situations out there. So it was like, let's just go after these guys. These are good matchups while also being fine and making our pitch, not giving in. So yeah, it worked out. The defense made a couple plays there too.
It's just a big outing by Taillon, and so
3D situations right there. I love that.
I just can't believe
what we
that
do as Cubs fans.
people had no faith in Taillon, and now it's like they wish he could pitch. They wish he could pitch Game 4 again. Yeah.
There was a stat they put on the broadcast that since middle of August, he's got the third best ERA in all of baseball. It was something crazy like that.
I think it was his 5 starts since he returned. 5 starts since he returned from the injured list. The ERA is definitely under 2.
It's phenomenal.
Awesome.
Who do we have here? Dansby Swanson from the clubhouse. Yeah, let's hear Dansby Swanson real quick.
Kind of been a lot of wild first innings this series. I thought it was just a great response by our group with just the at-bats after kind of a weird top half of the first inning. And to be able to come out and just put together consistent at-bats top to bottom, it's a good sight to see.
What have you seen from Jameson Taillon in his last 2 starts, these huge elimination games for you guys?
Yeah, even if you go back before that, ever since he got off the IL and really all season, just his ability to execute pitches, his ability to stay within himself, also just know what he's good at and execute, really in any count with any pitch, just obviously keeps guys off balance, and his poise and professionalism, I think, just shows up so much in these big moments.
Dansby's had some big moments in this series as well. He was talking about Taillon there a lot at the end. Bobby Blanco in the live YouTube chat says, I like Taillon. I think he's had bad luck, but the man loves being a Cub. I do think he embraces
He does.
Not only being a Cub, but pitching at Wrigley Field.
There's some tight friendships on that team between him and Nico and Happ, and there's some guys that have been on the team for a few years. And they're like friends outside of like the clubhouse and all that stuff.
Don't forget, he appreciates life. Cancer survivor. I mean, he's a good dude, and I agree. He loves being a Cub.
All right, we know that Jared Wyllys is almost ready or is ready to join us from beautiful historic Wrigley Field. He was in the clubhouse as well getting interviews. We're going to hear from him on the other side of a break. Think about it still. What was the key moment in this game? And who do you think should start that Game 4 tomorrow night? Backs to the wall again. We'll do it all over again tomorrow with another watch-along and another post-game show. But first, a word from our sponsors. That cool weather blew into Chicago the other day, and the first thing I thought of was grilling up something from Omaha Steaks. From handcrafted steaks to delicious fall favorites, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. Enjoy USDA certified steaks, juicy burgers, cozy and convenient comfort meals, plus tailgating favorites like chicken wings, smash burgers, and big deli style franks. We had those right over here on the grill the other day. Phenomenal. And right now, during the Red Hot Sales event, you get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $35 off with the promo code CUBS at checkout. Heartland quality food delivered right to your door. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917. Family owned with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Get fired up for fall. omahasteaks.com, 50% off site-wide, and the Red Hot Sales event, an extra $35 off when you use that promo code CUBS. Again, that promo code is CUBS.
Love Omaha Steaks, and I also love this next partner that we want to talk about. Hey, Chicago sports fans, it's the Game Time app, and it gives the advantage finally back to the fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means that you can trust that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. They got views from all seats in the venue. They got the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. It goes on. And they will credit you 110% the difference on that lowest price guarantee. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service in the ticketing industry. So take out the guesswork and go to Game Time right now. Download the app, create an account. Use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Create an account, CHGO, $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah.
4-3.
Right? We're still
4-3.
together, guys. We're
We
still
get
together.
At least
We're
one more
still
hangout session.
here. And you know who's still here and still there? Jared Wyllys. Still at the ballpark. They came through. He will be having a nice W stogie on the way home tonight. Jared, we were talking about Jameson Taillon in the last segment, and I said I feel like I have more confidence in Taillon right now than I do maybe any pitcher that the Cubs have on this active roster for the NLDS as far as pitchers go. What was the key to his success in this game?
I think he had a game plan that he executed well and stuck with, regardless of some of the weirdness that the first couple innings presented. Especially that first inning, that was a spot that easily could have rattled any pitcher. I mean, it was such an unusual play. I think most people thought, hey, isn't that an infield fly? Looked like a situation where it really could have been called that. And then it does end up leading to a run. And so I think, but the way that you saw Taillon respond in that spot in particular, I think that is a big part of a guy who's a veteran who had a clear game plan, executed it, and knew. He told us after the game that kind of had a sense for when his time to come out of the game was going to be coming, and so I think was pretty clear going into it on about how many batters he was going to face. So I think that made a big difference too. But it is funny to think about, like, given how things started with Jameson Taillon on this team, when they first signed him that first season, and how fans felt about him then compared to how they feel now.
Jared, everyone in the chat is just dying to know and trying to figure out who the Game 4 starter is going to be tomorrow. Craig Counsell obviously wouldn't tip his hand. Where are you leaning right now? Who's going to get the ball on the mound for the Chicago Cubs Game 4? And also, who do you think is going to get the ball for the Milwaukee Brewers?
I think that's a tougher call on the other side for me, as far as the Brewers go. But Matt Boyd was in the locker room, conspicuously available at his locker, and happy to talk with assembled media for quite some time. So you can read between the tea leaves there. He, of course, didn't come out. You know, he knows what he's doing. He didn't come out and say, "Hey, I'm the starter tomorrow," but talked about being prepared to do what he is needed to do, looking forward to getting the ball again, et cetera, et cetera. So I think if it's not Boyd as the starter, you're most definitely going to see him coming in fairly early. Given Council's approach with openers, especially of late, I don't know that I'd be particularly surprised to see a first inning opener tomorrow, and then Matt Boyd comes in after that.
Jared, what was the official ruling about the first inning when it could have been called an infield fly, but it wasn't? We kind of just were talking amongst ourselves. Was it because no one was actually officially under it? What was your understanding of why it wasn't called?
Yeah, so it's one of those that is very much like a judgment call. And so what happens with a play like that is we have a pool reporter that goes from the press box down to speak to it's a former umpire who's kind of supervising the night's umpiring crew. And his explanation was, as the ball reached the apex of its flight, it did not appear that any Cubs defenders were actively making a play for it. And so that's where I think you see the judgment call come into play. Now, we all know, because the players talked about it, just now with that 4:00 start time, the sun's at a really weird angle, which is a big part of, or is why Michael Busch lost it, as it went up into the air. Under normal circumstances, that's a ball he catches pretty routinely. And so I was still a little surprised to see that explanation, just because it seemed fairly evident that this was not I don't know. It seemed to me, at least, evident that he was not deliberately acting as if he couldn't catch the ball. It was just he's clearly staring straight into the sun and couldn't see it. But that was the explanation we got, is that there wasn't a player actively making a play for it.
Jared, how can this offense score runs after the first inning? What's going on? They were so patient early on, right?
So I actually asked Nico about that just now. I said, because my hypothesis was, hey, you chase the starter out in the first inning. In theory, this should be a good thing. But then for a hitter, what that does to you is you're kind of facing a new pitcher pretty much every at bat. And I asked him about, hey, is that challenging? Because that's sort of my wondering was, things slow down after the first inning. Is that why? And he kind of, I don't want to say like poo-pooed it, but just said, hey, we're familiar enough with this bullpen. We face these guys enough times. That's not necessarily an issue. I still kind of think that that's a factor when, you go into a game and there's a starter that you've kind of game planned for, and then that guy's out of the game so quickly, and you clearly were seeing his stuff really well. And then every at bat after that, it's a new reliever, new situation. I think that does present some challenges. But yeah, even without that, it's still concerning that they just don't seem to score after the first, maybe second inning. Because if not tonight, that's about as close as you can get to having that bite you in the butt at the end of the game. And so tomorrow, I think that's the thing to keep your eye on most closely, alongside of whatever the beginning of the game pitching plan is can these guys continue to put up runs? And not only that, get guys into scoring position beyond the first inning. They only did it twice after inning number 1 tonight.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, unbelievable. And Jared, also just really quick, you were in the locker room, you were in the clubhouse. We were also talking about, we played some Brad Keller sound, and there was music playing in the background. A lot of the clips that we've been having, guys have smiles on their faces. Can it be something, what was the emotion exactly in the locker room of not necessarily like, hey, let's party, let's dance, we won, but like these guys have been together all year long. They walked into the locker room today thinking that they might not see each other again for a while. They get a chance to play one more game, one more day. So that music in there, that had to give them a little bit, I don't know about a sigh of relief, but just a little bit of a jolt, right? That they're still going to all see each other tomorrow and high-five each other and get to go through it one more time at least.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that, and there's a lot too for them coming back to the home crowd, the Wrigley crowd, and not wanting to put up a loss in front of the Chicago fans. You get 40,000 people here for a playoff game, and two, I think you don't want to watch Milwaukee celebrate on your field. So I think there's a lot to that as well. But yeah, when we first approached Keller at his locker, the music was so loud. It was a little concerning. Nobody was going to be able to hear him until somebody turned it down. But, they do customarily, even during the regular season, you'll have some music going in the locker room after a win. But there was definitely a little extra. The volume was turned up tonight. I'll say that. It was louder than normal.
Turn it up.
I have one more question for you. We were watching it with the sound muted because just for reasons of the stream. But you being there, Wrigley Field noise meter, I mean, was it off the charts? Was it subdued? Was it anxious? Like, give us a taste of what it sounded like at the ballpark.
It was definitely, it was very, very loud early on. Those runs in that first inning, it got really loud. But there was a growing sense of anxiousness because fans can sense what situation was kind of brewing there. And particularly those last probably 4 or 5 outs of the game, when you have Thielbar and then Keller comes out and Brewers put some runners on and threatening. So those last couple outs, it got super loud. The strikeout and then a final ground out to end the game. Lots of noise. So this is a crowd that's pumped up for sure, but without a doubt, some anxiousness, not just that, the in the game situation, but knowing like, hey, if we blow it, not only does this mean they lost the series, they got swept, and then they lost all 3 games in kind of embarrassing fashion.
Yeah. Jared, by the way, is a great reason why you should sign up to be a diehard, because every once in a while, some of his great stuff is behind a paywall, but it's not if you're a diehard. It's available to everybody. So $36 is the deal right now for 1 year. $59 if you want to upgrade to one of the sweet branded bills, limited edition CHGO diehard hats. Real quick before we go, any other nuggets that we need to know before we get set for tomorrow's game?
As might be expected, Taillon was asked, hey, if there's a game 5, would you be available? And he said, I'll be available to do whatever's needed. So as you can probably imagine, game 5, it's going to be all hands on deck, including Jameson Taillon.
If we can get there. Look for Jared Wyllys' stuff on Twitter at Jared Wyllys, and also, of course, allchgo.com. Jared, thanks for the great work, and have a safe drive home with that stogie.
See you guys.
4-3 Cubs. Yeah.
Does he really smoke stogies? Or is that
no,
joke?
yeah, he loves cigars.
Really? Okay.
In fact, he likes his Twitter handle. He likes to say, "This I'm smoking Swisher Sweet." He never says Swisher Sweet, but
Okay, gotcha.
Great stuff on Boyd, though.
Yeah.
Good stuff on Boyd.
Boyd, I'm sure Boyd is the guy. You're just not going to turn it around. He's rested this time. I don't feel the same way about it as I did last time.
Okay, but question. Recent bias here. He did get kind of rocked against this same team on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Does that scare you at all? Or are they going to be overconfident facing Matthew Boyd?
If I had the chance of starting Horton or somebody else, the answer would be, yeah, I'm a little worried.
Yeah.
I think he's the best option.
Mentality-wise, I mean, as a Cubs fan, I'm backing him. I mean, he's our guy, man. I mean, he walked into this playoffs with that speech and that emotion about being a Cub.
Yeah.
I'm not forgetting that anytime soon. And honestly, like, if you're a competitor and you're Matthew Boyd, how perfect is it? How rich is it that you get an opportunity after someone beats you and beats you pretty bad? You get 4 days, and you get an opportunity to stick it to them and counterpunch.
The redemption game.
100%. 100%.
Right.
And I think Matthew Boyd is ready for that, and I'm ready to watch Matthew Boyd do that. So, you know what? I'm going to have some blind confidence, man, because that's all we got left, right? I just want to keep watching Cubs baseball, and we need Matthew Boyd tomorrow. So I think he's got a great opportunity to turn it around and make the Milwaukee Brewers shaking their head, going back to the dugout instead of Matthew Boyd after 2 outs in the first inning.
We used to say around here, wait till next year. That was the Cubs' cry.
Nope.
Now it's wait till tomorrow night.
Yes.
We will be here for Game 4, a live watch-along once again with all the sickos. I saw you, Vince. All the sickos in the – I saw Becky just arrived. Everybody will be here. We're also going to be here for the post-game show. We're also going to be on social. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger. Make sure you subscribe to that CHGO Cubs YouTube channel right now. Put your notifications on. Don't miss anything.
Big shout out to Portillo's
yes.
once again. Big
Fuel.
shout out.
The rally cake is just driving this postseason.
Completely. Completely.
Look at that.
Shrunk
Look
it
at
into
that.
a nub.
Do you know how many pieces of cake I've had?
And how
now?
many burgers and beefs we've had?
A lot. A lot.
Each one more delicious than its last. So Portillo's, thank you so much. And, you know, I don't want to expect it, but I can't wait to see what happens
I'm
tomorrow.
excited. I can't wait to see if they send food again
You know
tomorrow.
what I mean? It's serious.
There's a game, too. But anyways, I'm excited to see what's
Cubs in 5, baby. Cubs in 5. Let's
Cubs
go.
play. Don't let the Cubs get hot. CHGO Cubs will be here with you like we always are. Rally cake, Joey. Joey, Justin, Sarah, I'm Luke. Oh, Emma too
Cubs
on the
in 5.
socials.
Cubs in
Cubs in
5.
5. Don't let them get hot. CHGO Cubs fly to W.
We all silly like the mayor.